Meadows for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you both for being here. Mr. Horowitz, it's good to have you back with us. And as you can recall, some of our previous hearings have been rather illuminating, I guess would be the best way to say that. And so I want to focus a little bit on access because the Inspector General and your ability to do your job is only commensurate with your ability to access information. We've had some problems, as you well know. We've had some problems not only with the DEA, but we've had some problems in other agencies with access, and it's something that this committee will not tolerate, as you know. So can you share with me where we are on access and with the DEA specifically, maybe where we've been, where we are today?
Absolutely, and I very much appreciate, as I know the whole IG community does, this committee's commitment to ensuring that fix and passing the IG Empowerment Act, which would address these issues. And I'm hopeful in the next week or so we can get it through the Senate as well.
Well, that's where I was going, you know, and so you didn't swing and a miss with that softball that I teed up for you there. But I do believe that, and so maybe you can speak to the critical nature of that particular piece of legislation on how it could have helped in this situation and other similar situations.
So we identified what I think it's fair to say, and DEA has also acknowledged in both of our reports, very serious concerns in a lot of different areas. Our ability to find that information was delayed by about a year because we actually started this audit, or both of these audits, almost 3 years ago. February will be 3 years. The first year, my auditors can explain in great detail how little they had to do because of how many roadblocks were thrown up in front of them. That has changed, I am pleased to report, dramatically with the new leadership, the acting administrator, the leadership of OPR.
So what you're saying is the resignation of the previous administrator who came under fire for a variety of issues, this new administrator is doing a better job.
The new acting administrator has done a much better job, and we have gotten the materials that we needed to do these reports in the last almost 18 months now. But that first year was delayed seriously, and it demonstrates why we need the IG Empowerment Act. It shouldn't be up to who sits in the chair in the corner office of the components we oversee or any other IG oversees as to whether we get access to records.
All right. So would you say, without disparaging the reputation of a previous administrator, would you say that there are typically conflicting priorities as it relates to access for administrators because they want to not share that they're doing a bad job in a particular area?
That's certainly the risk, and it should never be up to the person who's being reviewed by us and whether their conduct was appropriate to decide what they think we should look at.
So it would be someone who is accused of a crime who would say that they could withhold evidence legally if we do not pass this act. Would you agree with that analogy?
I can assure you, as an AUSA, having in my former life and working with agents, I can't imagine a circumstance where the agents would say to the subjects or targets of a criminal investigation, you decide what we should see so that we can figure out whether you committed a crime.
All right. So the IG Empowerment Act would give you most of the tools, you believe, to be able to make sure that we not only have a transparent and accountable government, but empower the IGs to be able to better do their job, not just at DOJ, but across the spectrum of...
Exactly correct. There are 73 IGs out there, and many of them have faced, unfortunately, the same issues we did.
All right. So, Mr. Patterson, let me come to you because obviously something has changed, and Mr. Horowitz is being complimentary in spite of the fact that we're here today over some very troubling concerns that the Chairman has illuminated. What individual policies or rules have you changed, or has the acting administrator changed to make sure that access is not an issue?
Well, certainly our current acting administrator has made it very clear, and I feel in a similar fashion, that these reviews, whether it is OIG or any reviews from the Department, make us better. So we embrace that, and we will fully comply with that. I mean, I will say we have worked with OIG my first few months after taking over this job to rebuild this relationship with the various components that fall under Mr. Horowitz. We put out guidance to the field in terms of, and we worked again to put that guidance out jointly to the field as to how they are to respond and provide information to the OIG to properly inform.
So would you agree, and I'll yield back, would you agree then at this particular point, without the implementation of a legislative fix, the IG Empowerment Act, that it is up to the individual discretion of an administrator on how they comply and whether they comply, and you would agree that there should be some continuity there? And I'll yield back to the Chairman.